Disrespect never announces itself with fanfare. It creeps in, a sneer, an inflection, a calculated wound. Tolerate it once and you've already surrendered. But Machiavelli reveals the truth. Respect isn't gifted. Respect is commanded. When someone shows you contempt, they're measuring your authority. They're determining if you warrant their caution. And each time you ignore it, you're broadcasting the answer is no. Today we're plunging into 8 ruthless methods to address disrespect. This isn't about emotional outbursts. This is about frigid, strategic supremacy. This is about transforming into someone others hesitate before challenging. Before we dive in, ask yourself, how often have you let disrespect linger in your mind, powerless to act? That concludes today. Today, you master the principles of a contest that most individuals don't even realize they're participating in. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Disrespect fuels my power. Let it set your mindset on fire. Asterisk asterisk. The concealed nature of disrespect. Let's begin with what most individuals completely misunderstand about contempt. They anticipate it arrives as an obvious assault. Clear, direct, impossible to overlook. But that's not how intelligent people disrespect you. That's not how this game truly operates. Genuine disrespect is a serpent. It infiltrates quietly, camouflaged as harmless banter, playful mockery, or accidental slights. It's the colleague who perpetually talks over you in conferences. It's the acquaintance who delivers sharp comments and then declares, "I'm joking." It's the relative who invalidates your perspectives with a dismissive gesture. Here's how it characteristically develops. Initially, they probe your defenses with gentle mockery. Perhaps they make a remark about your appearance, your decisions, or your capabilities. They're observing your response meticulously. If you participate in the laughter or dismiss it, they've discovered something crucial about you. You're vulnerable to attack. Subsequently, the remarks become somewhat harsher, somewhat more targeted. The condescending body language becomes more pronounced. They begin interrupting you more regularly. They start excluding you from dialogues or determinations. Each increment is minor enough that confronting it appears trivial, but collectively they establish a pattern of systematic contempt. If you persist in accepting this conduct, believing you're being the superior individual, something catastrophic occurs. You condition them to perceive you as someone who tolerates poor treatment. You become their emotional receptacle, the individual they can safely deposit their frustrations upon without repercussions. I've witnessed this pattern annihilate relationships, vocations, and self-worth. Decent individuals who believed kindness would triumph discovered themselves encircled by exploiters, manipulators, and aggressors who interpreted their kindness as vulnerability. Machiavelli comprehended this dynamic flawlessly. He existed in a realm where displaying weakness could literally obliterate you. He recognized that individuals are perpetually testing each other, searching for vulnerabilities they can exploit. He documented extensively about how authority functions in practice, not in hypothesis. Here's the reality that fragile individuals can't digest. Silence at the incorrect moment equals endorsement. When you articulate nothing in response to contempt, you're not being mature. You're being complicit. When you participate in jokes at your expense, you're not being a good companion. You're granting permission for additional mistreatment. When you overlook something just this occasion, you're not being compassionate. You're instructing them that your boundaries are suggestions, not regulations. You're demonstrating that you don't value yourself sufficiently to defend your own dignity. This is why certain individuals spend their entire existence being trampled, while others command respect wherever they venture. It's not about fortune, appearance, or innate magnetism. It's about comprehending how human psychology actually operates and responding appropriately. The individuals who obtain respect understand that every interaction is a negotiation. Every conversation contains subtle power dynamics. Every relationship has an unspoken hierarchy, and that hierarchy gets established through thousands of small moments where respect is either given or seized. Most individuals are playing checkers while a few are playing chess. The checkers players react emotionally to each move. The chess players are calculating several moves ahead, constructing patterns that serve their long-term interests. Today, you learn to play chess. Lesson 1. Silence as a strategy. The first weapon in your arsenal isn't speech. It's quietness. But not feeble quietness. Strategic quietness. There's a colossal difference, and comprehending that difference will transform everything. Feeble silence is when you don't respond because you're frightened, wounded, or don't know what to articulate. This type of silence makes you appear like a victim. Individuals can detect your emotional turbulence, and it encourages them to advance further. Strategic silence is entirely different. It's when you elect not to respond as a calculated determination. You're not injured or bewildered. You're assessing. You're making them wait while you decide if they're worth your energy. How this operates in practice: someone delivers a disrespectful comment to you. Instead of immediately defending yourself, explaining your position, or retaliating, you simply cease talking. You observe them directly. You allow the silence to extend until it becomes uncomfortable. During that pause, something captivating transpires in their brain. First, they realize their words are suspended in the atmosphere with no response. The conversation has halted, and it's their fault. Second, they begin to question whether they violated a boundary. Third, they start to occupy that empty space with their own anxiety and remorse. Most individuals are petrified of silence. They feel compelled to occupy it with words, explanations, or nervous laughter. But when you're comfortable with silence, when you can exist in it without flinching, you have authority over individuals who can't tolerate it. Machiavelli once declared, "Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved." This silence creates a variety of fear. Not the fear of physical harm, but the fear of unpredictability. They can't decipher you. They can't anticipate how you'll respond. And unpredictable individuals are dangerous individuals because you never know what they might execute. Let me provide you a genuine example. You're in a group conversation, and someone makes a joke at your expense. Everyone laughs. The normal response would be to laugh along, make a joke back, or defend yourself. Instead, you do nothing. You just observe the individual who made the joke with a completely neutral expression. The laughter diminishes. The silence expands. Individuals begin to feel uncomfortable. The joke maker realizes their comment didn't land the way they anticipated. They might even apologize or try to explain what they meant. Without articulating a word, you've shifted the entire dynamic of the room. This operates because you've disrupted the expected pattern. They anticipated you to play along with their disrespect. Instead, you gave them nothing to work with. You became a mirror that reflected their own conduct back at them, forcing them to confront what they just executed. The magnificence of this approach is that you maintain complete control. You're not reactive. You're not emotional. You're just present. And that presence becomes intimidating because they can't manipulate or predict you. Remember, silence is not absence. Silence is control. It's the pause before the tempest. It's the loaded question that demands an answer. And in a realm full of individuals who can't cease talking, the individual who knows when to stay quiet holds all the authority. But here's the key: your silence must originate from a place of strength, not weakness. You're not staying quiet because you're wounded or don't know what to articulate. You're staying quiet because you're choosing to withhold your response until you decide they deserve one. Drop this affirmation in the comments: "My silence commands respect." Feel the shift. Asterisk, asterisk. Start small. Next time someone disrespects you, pause. Hold their gaze. Make them feel the weight of their own words. Asterisk, asterisk. Practice this in minor situations first. When someone makes a thoughtless comment, just pause. Observe them. Allow them to feel the gravity of their own words. You'll be astounded at how rapidly individuals begin monitoring what they articulate around you. Lesson 2. Relentless consistency. Here's where most individuals completely obliterate their own authority. They establish a boundary once and believe that's sufficient. They handle disrespect well one occasion and anticipate individuals to remember eternally. But boundaries signify nothing if they collapse the first occasion they're seriously tested. Human beings are like water. They flow toward the path of least resistance. If your boundaries have openings in them, individuals will discover those openings and exploit them. If your standards are negotiable, individuals will negotiate them down to nothing. This is why consistency is everything. Not just consistency in major moments, but consistency in every single interaction. Every occasion someone disrespects you, your response must be predictable, cold, calculated, unwavering. Contemplate the individuals in your existence who command the most respect. I guarantee you they're consistent in how they handle poor treatment. They don't overlook things sometimes and get upset other occasions. They have clear standards, and they enforce those standards every single occasion. Now, contemplate the individuals who get trampled. They're inconsistent. They overlook small disrespect, hoping to avoid conflict. They make exceptions for individuals they like. They have favorable days and unfavorable days when it comes to standing up for themselves. This inconsistency conditions individuals to persist testing their limits. It's like operating a slot machine. Sometimes you obtain a reaction, sometimes you don't. The uncertainty actually encourages more attempts because individuals want to determine if this occasion will be different. Machiavelli comprehended this principle profoundly. He recognized that authority is repetition. Each occasion you enforce your standards consistently, your reputation grows stronger. Each occasion you make an exception, your authority weakens. What transpires when you become relentlessly consistent in handling disrespect? Individuals begin to predict your reactions. They know that certain behaviors will have certain consequences. This predictability creates caution, and caution creates respect. Let me provide you some examples of what consistency resembles in practice. Someone interrupts you in a conference. Every single occasion this transpires, you cease talking, observe them, and wait for them to finish before you continue. You don't sometimes ignore it and sometimes call it out. You always respond the same way. Someone makes jokes at your expense. Every single occasion, you don't laugh. You don't smile. You don't play along. Your face remains neutral, and you continue the conversation as if they didn't speak. No exceptions. Someone attempts to deposit their emotional problems on you when you're occupied. Every single occasion, you articulate something like, "I can perceive you're upset, but I can't talk right now." You don't sometimes listen out of guilt and sometimes establish boundaries. Machiavelli once declared, "Men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate necessities that a deceiver will never lack victims for his deceptions." The immediate necessity here is avoiding your consistent consequences. When individuals know that disrespecting you will always result in the same cold response, they begin policing their own conduct around you. They learn that you're not someone who makes exceptions. But here's the component most individuals struggle with. Your consistency can't just apply to major violations. It has to cover the smallest infractions too. The slight eye roll when you're speaking. The dismissive tone when they respond to you. The subtle body language that communicates contempt. All of it gets the same treatment. All of it receives the same measured, consistent response. This might seem harsh to individuals who are accustomed to overlooking things, but it's actually more merciful than the alternative. When individuals know exactly where they stand with you, they can adjust their conduct accordingly. They don't have to guess whether today is a day when you'll tolerate disrespect. They know you never will, so they don't try. It's the inconsistent individuals who cause the most confusion and drama in relationships. Nobody knows what to anticipate from them. Sometimes they're doormats. Sometimes they explode. This unpredictability makes everyone around them walk on eggshells. But when you're consistently firm about your standards, individuals relax around you. They know the regulations. They know what's acceptable and what isn't. This clarity actually makes relationships easier, not harder. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My boundaries are unbreakable. Make your presence felt. Asterisk asterisk. Pick one disrespectful habit people do to you. Respond the same way every single time. No exceptions. Train them to fear your consistency. Asterisk asterisk. Begin minor with this. Select one type of disrespectful conduct that you currently tolerate sometimes. Maybe it's interrupting. Maybe it's dismissive comments. Maybe it's being kept waiting. From now on, respond to that conduct the exact same way every single occasion it transpires. Observe how rapidly individuals' conduct around you begins to transform when they realize your boundaries aren't negotiable. Lesson 3. Clear and effective response. Now we arrive at the component that separates the truly powerful from everyone else. When someone disrespects you, your response cannot be proportionate to their action. It must be disproportionate. Why this operates? An ordinary response is forgettable. If someone makes a cutting remark and you make one back, it's just another argument. If someone dismisses you and you argue with them, it's just another disagreement. These interactions blend together in individuals' minds. But if someone makes a cutting remark and you respond with complete emotional withdrawal, that's unforgettable. If someone dismisses you and you create distance and limit contact with them, that leaves a permanent impression. This doesn't signify losing control or throwing tantrums. Quite the opposite. It signifies your response should be calculated to create lasting impact. The objective is to make them remember the consequences of crossing you every occasion they consider executing it again. Let me provide you some concrete examples. Someone makes a joke at your expense in front of others. Instead of laughing along or making a joke back, you observe them with complete seriousness and articulate, "That wasn't amusing." Then you continue the conversation as if they no longer exist. Or superior yet, you don't articulate anything at all. You simply excuse yourself from the situation entirely. No explanation, no drama. You just become unavailable to them for the remainder of the event. Here's another example. An acquaintance consistently arrives late to plans with you, demonstrating they don't value your time. Instead of complaining about it or making jokes about their tardiness, you begin making plans without them. When they inquire why they weren't invited, you simply articulate, "I didn't believe you'd want to come since you always seem to have other priorities." The key is that your response should create discomfort that lasts longer than their original disrespectful action. They should discover themselves contemplating your reaction days or weeks later, wondering if they advanced too far. Machiavelli once declared, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." The objective here isn't to be cruel for the sake of cruelty. It's to be memorable. When someone contemplates disrespecting you in the future, they should immediately remember the last occasion they attempted it and the uncomfortable consequences that followed. This approach operates because it violates individuals' expectations. They anticipated you to play along, to be a good companion, to accept it like you always do. Instead, they received ice. They received distance. They received a masterclass in cause and effect. Most individuals respond to disrespect with either doormat conduct or explosive anger. Both of these responses are forgettable because they're predictable. The doormat response encourages more disrespect. The explosive response makes you appear unstable and damages your reputation. But a cold, measured, disproportionate response, that's something they'll remember. That's something that makes them contemplate twice before testing you again. What disproportionate consequences might resemble in different situations? Someone talks over you in a group setting. Instead of fighting for airtime, you simply cease participating in group conversations when they're present. You're polite, but distant. They obtain the message that their conduct has cost them your engagement. Someone makes dismissive comments about your objectives or achievements. Instead of defending yourself, you cease sharing personal information with them entirely. They no longer obtain access to your inner realm because they've proven they can't be trusted with it. A relative constantly criticizes your choices. Instead of arguing or attempting to prove them wrong, you begin limiting your time with them. You become politely unavailable for family events they attend. You don't make a major announcement about it. you just become harder to reach. The punishment must speak louder than the offense. A minor slight gets met with significant consequence. This creates a lasting impression and makes them calculate the cost before disrespecting you again. Again, remember, you're not attempting to be liked here. You're attempting to be respected. And respect originates from comprehending that there are genuine consequences for crossing certain boundaries. Individuals who genuinely respect you will appreciate your standards because it signifies they can trust you to maintain them in other areas of existence too. Individuals who don't appreciate your standards were probably exploiting your previous lack of boundaries anyway. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Every move I make demands respect. Own it. Asterisk asterisk. Contemplate the last occasion someone disrespected you and you just overlooked it. What would a disproportionate response have resembled? What consequence would have been memorable enough to prevent future violations? Begin applying this principle to new situations as they emerge. Lesson 4. Crafting the dark image. Here's something most individuals completely overlook about authority and respect. Your actions matter, but your aura matters more. The way individuals perceive you before you even speak determines how they'll treat you for the remainder of the interaction. You need to craft an image of someone who shouldn't be tested. Not through aggression or loud conduct, but through controlled intensity. Through the quiet suggestion that crossing you would be an expensive mistake. This image gets constructed through dozens of small, consistent signals over time. The way you carry yourself when you walk into a room. The way you speak. Measured, deliberate, never rushed. The way you handle conflict when others are observing. The way you respond to both praise and criticism with equal composure. When someone witnesses you shut down disrespect with cold precision, they make a mental note. They file you under individuals not to provoke. This reputation begins to precede you into every new interaction you have. Contemplate the individuals in your existence who command natural respect. They don't have to announce their standards because their presence communicates those standards. They don't have to threaten consequences because everyone already comprehends there will be consequences. This isn't about being intimidating in an obvious way. It's about being someone who clearly has their existence together. Someone who knows their worth and anticipates others to recognize it too. Someone whose time and attention feel valuable because they treat them as valuable. Machiavelli once declared, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. What you want to appear to be is untouchable." Someone who has superior things to do than argue with individuals who don't comprehend boundaries. Someone whose respect must be earned, not assumed. Someone who makes calculated determinations about who obtains access to their energy. Here's how you construct this image practically. You become selective about everything. Who obtains your warmth? Who obtains your time? Who obtains your attention? Who obtains second chances? This selectivity communicates that these things have value. When someone disrespects you in public, your response should be swift, calm, and definitive. No emotional reactions, no heated arguments. Just cold consequence delivered with the efficiency of someone who has addressed this before and knows exactly how to handle it. Individuals should feel a slight tension when they're about to articulate something disrespectful to you. Not because you're intimidating in an aggressive way, but because you're clearly someone who has standards and isn't frightened to enforce them. Your reputation should precede you. When individuals mention your name in conversations, others should nod with respect, not roll their eyes or make jokes. This doesn't transpire by accident. It transpires through careful, consistent cultivation of how you present in the realm. Let me provide you some specific ways to construct this image. Never pursue anyone for their attention or approval. If someone doesn't respond to your messages, don't transmit follow-ups. If someone cancels plans, don't immediately offer alternative dates. Allow them to approach you. Never over-explain your determinations or justify your boundaries. When you establish a limit, state it once clearly and then enforce it without discussion. Individuals who argue with your boundaries are testing to determine if they're negotiable. Never tolerate disrespect just to preserve the peace. Every occasion you overlook something, you chip away at the image you're constructing. Every occasion you enforce your standards, you strengthen it. Be consistent in your energy levels. Don't be overly excited one day and withdrawn the subsequent. Maintain a steady, controlled presence that individuals can rely on but can't manipulate. The most powerful individuals in any room are often the quietest ones. They don't need to prove anything to anyone. Their presence alone commands attention and respect. This is the energy you're cultivating. This image serves you in countless ways. Difficult individuals avoid you because they know you're not an easy target. Quality individuals are drawn to you because they respect your self-respect. Opportunities approach your way because individuals know you're someone who accomplishes things without drama. Watch yourself closely. Do people respect your presence or test your limits? Are you projecting power or weakness? Your observations reveal your true image. ***. Begin paying attention to how you present in different situations. Are you consistent? Do you project strength or neediness? Do individuals seem to naturally respect your boundaries, or are they constantly testing them? Your answers will inform you what image you're currently projecting and what needs to transform. Lesson 5. Higher Machiavellian Strategy. Now we advance to the advanced level where you cease taking disrespect personally and begin perceiving it as valuable intelligence about the individuals around you. This shift in perspective transforms everything. Every occasion someone disrespects you, they're providing you information about their character, their insecurities, and their genuine feelings toward you. Instead of becoming emotional about it, begin collecting this intelligence like a scientist gathering data. Who disrespects you when you succeed? That's envy revealing itself. Who disrespects you when other individuals aren't around? That's cowardice. Who disrespects you to your face but acts pleasant when others are present? That's calculated manipulation. Who disrespects you when you establish boundaries? Those are the individuals who were benefiting from your lack of boundaries. Who becomes angry when you begin demanding respect? Those are the individuals who preferred it when you didn't respect yourself. Machiavelli once declared, "Keep your friends close and your enemies closer, but first you need to identify who your enemies actually are." Many individuals spend years being friendly with individuals who secretly resent them simply because they never paid attention to the subtle signs of disrespect that revealed individuals' genuine feelings. This intelligence becomes incredibly valuable for making determinations about relationships, vocation moves, and existence choices. You now know who to trust with important information, who to exclude from opportunities, and who to observe carefully because they're not on your side. Let me provide you some examples of how to interpret disrespect as intelligence. A colleague consistently interrupts you in conferences but never interrupts the superior. This informs you they perceive you as lower status and are attempting to maintain that hierarchy. They're not someone to collaborate with on important projects. An acquaintance makes cutting jokes about your appearance but never about your successful acquaintances. This reveals insecurity and resentment about your appearance or success. They're not someone to celebrate achievements with because they can't handle your victories. A relative criticizes your existence choices but praises similar choices made by others in the family. This demonstrates favoritism and possibly jealousy. They're not someone to seek advice from because their opinions are biased against you. Someone acts respectful when you're in a position of authority but becomes dismissive when your circumstances transform. This reveals they only respect your position, not you as an individual. They're not someone to count on during difficult occasions. This perspective shift is liberating because it removes the personal sting from disrespectful conduct. Instead of contemplating, "How dare they treat me this way?" you begin contemplating, "Thank you for demonstrating me who you genuinely are before I trusted you with something important." Disrespect becomes a filter that assists you identify low-quality individuals before you invest too much time, energy, or trust in them. It's like possessing a security system that alerts you to threats before they can execute genuine damage. Most individuals ignore these warning signs because they want to believe the superior about everyone. They make excuses for disrespectful conduct, hoping it was just an unfavorable day or a misunderstanding. This tendency to provide individuals the benefit of the doubt repeatedly gets them wounded. Intelligent individuals pay attention to patterns of conduct over time. They notice when someone consistently treats them worse than they treat others. They recognize when someone's actions don't match their words. They utilize this information to make informed determinations about relationships. Machiavelli comprehended that human nature is fairly predictable once you know what to search for. Individuals who disrespect you in minor ways will disrespect you in larger ways if provided the opportunity. Individuals who violate minor boundaries will violate major ones when it serves their interests. This is why treating disrespect as intelligence is so powerful. It permits you to predict future conduct and protect yourself accordingly. You can adjust your level of trust, intimacy, and investment in relationships based on how individuals actually treat you, not how they articulate they feel about you. The magnificent thing about this approach is that it makes you emotionally bulletproof. When someone disrespects you, you don't accept it as a reflection of your worth. You accept it as information about their character. This keeps you calm, analytical, and strategic instead of reactive and emotional. Individuals reveal their genuine nature in how they treat those they believe can't wound them. Pay attention to how others treat service workers, subordinates, and relatives. This demonstrates you what they're genuinely like when they believe there are no consequences. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Disrespect exposes the weak. Let your insight shine. Asterisk. Track who respects you and who doesn't. Every slight exposes a person's character. Learn from it. Asterisk. Begin keeping track of patterns in how individuals treat you versus how they treat others. Notice who consistently demonstrates you less respect and inquire yourself what that reveals about their genuine feelings toward you. Utilize this information to make superior determinations about who deserves your time, trust, and energy. Lesson 6. Understanding human psychology. Let me share something that will transform how you perceive disrespectful conduct eternally. Most disrespect isn't genuinely about you. It's about the individual executing it. Comprehending the psychology provides you incredible authority because you can predict and counter their conduct. Individuals disrespect others for predictable reasons. Sometimes it's insecurity. They need to diminish someone to feel superior about themselves. Sometimes it's dominance. They're testing to determine if they can establish themselves as higher status. Sometimes it's fear. They're attempting to discourage you from succeeding because your success makes them feel inadequate. Sometimes it's simply habit. They've learned that disrespectful conduct obtains them what they want with certain types of individuals, so they attempt it with everyone to determine who will tolerate it. Here's what's captivating about human psychology. Most individuals who distribute disrespect can't handle receiving it. They're accustomed to being the aggressor, not the target. When you respond to their disrespect with calculated coldness, they often become bewildered and uncomfortable. This transpires because disrespectful individuals typically select targets they perceive as feeble or unlikely to retaliate. When you don't react the way they anticipated, when you don't become flustered or defensive, it disrupts their entire strategy. They were counting on you to either accept it quietly or respond emotionally. Both of those responses would have served their purposes. The quiet acceptance would have established their dominance. The emotional response would have made you appear unstable while they appeared calm. But when you respond with strategic silence, consistent boundaries, and calculated consequences, you reverse the script entirely. Suddenly, they're the ones who appear petty and aggressive. They're the ones who appear to be targeting someone who won't engage with their drama. This is why the techniques we've discussed are so effective. They're designed to operate with human psychology, not against it. They transform individuals' own disrespectful tendencies into weapons that backfire on them. Comprehending this psychology also assists you remain calm during disrespectful encounters. When you realize that their conduct is about their own issues and insecurities, it becomes much easier to respond strategically instead of emotionally. You're not attempting to convince them to appreciate you or prove that you deserve superior treatment. You're simply making it clear that disrespectful conduct toward you arrives with costs they might not want to pay. Most individuals who habitually disrespect others are searching for easy targets. When you make yourself a difficult target, someone whose boundaries are firm and whose consequences are genuine, they typically advance on to easier prey. This isn't about being malicious or cruel. It's about comprehending how human dynamics actually operate and responding accordingly. Kind individuals can possess boundaries. Pleasant individuals can demand respect. Virtuous individuals can refuse to tolerate poor treatment. Human beings operate on patterns. When they discover a pattern that operates for them, like disrespecting someone and experiencing no consequences, they'll continue that pattern. Your occupation is to disrupt that pattern by introducing consequences they can't ignore. Another psychological principle at work here: individuals respect what they can't fully comprehend or control. When you become unpredictable in your consequences while remaining consistent in your standards, you create an aura of mystery that commands respect. They can't quite determine you out. They don't know where your boundaries are because you enforce all of them. They can't manipulate you because you don't respond emotionally. This inability to categorize or control you makes them treat you with caution. The psychological truth is this: individuals will treat you however you train them to treat you. If you laugh at jokes made at your expense, you've trained them that it's acceptable. If you accept being interrupted, you've trained them that your words don't matter. If you tolerate being dismissed, you've trained them that your opinions aren't valuable. But when you consistently demonstrate that disrespectful conduct results in cold consequences, you train them to treat you with respect. It's not complicated. It's simply cause and effect applied to human conduct. Comprehending these psychological principles removes the mystery from social dynamics. You cease feeling like a victim of circumstance and begin feeling like someone who comprehends the regulations of the game and plays accordingly. Lesson 7. Predictive Behavior Analysis. Now we advance into territory that few individuals ever master: the capacity to predict how individuals will treat you before they even execute it. This skill transforms you from someone who reacts to disrespect into someone who prevents it before it transpires. Predictive behavior analysis is about identifying patterns in how individuals interact with you and others, then utilizing those patterns to anticipate future conduct. It's about reading the subtle signals that telegraph disrespect before it becomes obvious. Here's how this operates in practice. Observe how someone treats individuals they perceive as beneath them. Service workers, subordinates, individuals they don't need anything from. This is your preview of how they'll treat you the moment they believe they no longer need to impress you. Notice how someone responds when you establish a minor boundary. Do they respect it immediately, or do they test it? The individual who tests minor boundaries will obliterate major ones given the opportunity. Pay attention to how someone discusses others in their absence. The individual who gossips about everyone else will gossip about you. The individual who disrespects absent individuals will disrespect you when you're not around. Watch how someone handles disagreement. Do they become defensive and aggressive, or can they engage respectfully with opposing viewpoints? This informs you how they'll treat you the first occasion you don't see things their way. Observe their consistency. Do they keep their word? Do they follow through on commitments? Individuals who are unreliable in minor things will be unreliable in major things. Machiavelli was a master of predictive analysis. He recognized that human nature is relatively consistent. Individuals don't fundamentally transform their character. They simply reveal it progressively over time. Your occupation is to identify those revelations early and utilize them to predict future conduct. Here are some specific behavioral patterns that predict future disrespect. The tester asterisk: this individual makes subtle disrespectful comments disguised as jokes or observations. They're measuring your reaction. If you overlook it, they've identified you as someone they can disrespect more overtly later. The boundary pusher asterisk: this individual consistently arrives late, cancels plans last minute, or violates other minor agreements. They're testing to determine how much they can get away with. If you tolerate minor violations, they'll escalate to major ones. The status checker asterisk. This individual treats you differently based on your perceived status or utility to them. When you're useful, they're respectful. When they believe you have nothing to offer, they become dismissive. This individual will abandon you the moment your circumstances transform. The comparative diminisher asterisk. This individual consistently compares you unfavorably to others. They praise everyone else while finding fault in you. This reveals deep resentment that will manifest as ongoing disrespect. The public performer asterisk. This individual treats you well in private, but makes subtle digs or excludes you in group settings. They're managing their image at your expense, which will only escalate over time. Once you identify these patterns, you can predict how relationships will evolve. You don't have to wait for major betrayals or obvious disrespect to make determinations. The minor signals inform you everything you need to know. This predictive capacity provides you an enormous advantage. While others are surprised and wounded by how individuals treat them, you saw it coming. While others invest years in relationships that were doomed from the beginning, you identified the warning signs early and adjusted accordingly. The most powerful component of predictive analysis is that it permits you to be proactive rather than reactive. Instead of responding to disrespect after it transpires, you can structure your relationships and interactions to minimize the opportunities for disrespect in the first place. For example, if you identify someone as a status checker, you don't invest emotional energy in that relationship. You keep them at a professional distance and never count on them for support. When they eventually demonstrate their genuine nature, you're not wounded because you anticipated it. If you identify someone as a boundary pusher, you establish firm boundaries immediately and enforce them consistently. You don't provide them the opportunity to escalate their testing conduct because you shut it down from the beginning. This doesn't signify becoming cynical or distrusting everyone. It signifies becoming discerning. It signifies recognizing that individuals demonstrate you who they are through their actions, and your occupation is to believe them. Machiavelli comprehended that the capacity to read individuals accurately is one of the most valuable skills anyone can possess. It protects you from exploitation, saves you time and energy, and permits you to invest your resources in individuals who genuinely deserve them. Begin practicing this skill today. When you encounter someone new, don't just listen to their words. Observe their conduct. Notice the patterns. Pay attention to the minor signals. These observations will inform you more about who they genuinely are than anything they articulate about themselves. The individuals who master predictive behavior analysis become nearly impossible to disrespect because they've structured their existence to exclude individuals who would attempt it. They've utilized pattern recognition to filter out low-quality individuals before those individuals obtain the opportunity to cause damage. This skill compounds over time. The more you practice identifying patterns, the more rapidly you can assess new individuals. Eventually, you'll be able to determine within minutes of meeting someone whether they're the type to respect boundaries or test them. Lesson 8. Self-respect and engagement. Now we arrive at the foundation, your relationship with yourself. Here's the reality. Individuals can only treat you as poorly as you treat yourself. If you don't respect yourself, no technique will make others respect you. Self-respect isn't arrogance. It's possessing clear standards for how you deserve to be treated and refusing to negotiate them. Individuals with genuine self-respect don't announce it. It emanates from them in every interaction. Here's what genuine self-respect resembles. You don't chase individuals who demonstrate they don't value you. You don't diminish yourself to make others comfortable. You don't require external validation to know your worth. You don't negotiate your boundaries based on who's asking. Machiavelli comprehended that genuine authority originates from internal certainty. Individuals who genuinely respect themselves don't need to demand it from others. The engagement component is equally critical. Self-respect without engagement becomes isolation. You need to actively participate while maintaining your standards. Selective engagement *, you participate fully where respect is mutual. You withdraw strategically where it's not. Quality interactions *, 5 individuals who genuinely respect you beat 50 who treat you as optional. Active boundaries *. You don't just establish boundaries, you actively protect them while remaining engaged. Purposeful presence *. When you engage, you're fully present. This makes your attention valuable. The transformation transpires when self-respect and strategic engagement combine. You become someone who values themselves while remaining open to genuine connection with those who deserve it. Begin cultivating this internal foundation today. Stop negotiating what you deserve. Stop making excuses for individuals who don't respect you. Your self-respect is not negotiable. Smash that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell. ***. ### The transformation journey. The techniques we've discussed transform how individuals perceive and interact with you over time. As you consistently apply these principles, your reputation begins to precede you. Individuals hear that you're someone who commands respect. This reputation becomes self-reinforcing. When individuals anticipate respecting you, they usually do. When they know crossing you has genuine consequences, they contemplate twice. Over time, the quality of individuals in your existence improves dramatically. Low-quality individuals drift away. High-quality individuals who respect your standards begin to engage more. Your professional and personal relationships become healthier because you no longer tolerate poor treatment. This transformation requires patience and consistency. Every occasion you maintain your standards, you invest in your future self. Every boundary you enforce builds your foundation of respect. The individual who masters these strategies becomes someone others naturally respect, someone who doesn't need to request superior treatment because they've created the conditions that make it inevitable. ### Conclusion. We've journeyed through 8 profound strategies that transform how you handle disrespect and command respect in every area of your existence. Let's crystallize what we've covered. Silence as a strategy taught you that strategic quietness is more powerful than any words you could articulate. Your measured pauses create discomfort in those who disrespect you, forcing them to confront their own conduct. Relentless consistency demonstrated that boundaries without consistent enforcement are meaningless. Every single occasion you maintain your standards, you train individuals how to treat you. Clear and effective response revealed that disproportionate consequences create lasting impressions. When someone crosses you, your response must be memorable enough to prevent future violations. Crafting the dark image showed you how to construct an aura of someone who shouldn't be tested. Your reputation precedes you, and individuals contemplate twice before challenging your boundaries. Higher Machiavellian strategy elevated your perspective from taking disrespect personally to perceiving it as valuable intelligence about individuals' genuine character and intentions. Understanding human psychology unveiled why individuals disrespect others and how to utilize that knowledge to predict and counter their conduct before it escalates. Predictive behavior analysis equipped you with the capacity to identify patterns early, permitting you to be proactive rather than reactive in protecting your dignity. Self-respect and engagement established the foundation, recognizing that genuine authority originates from valuing yourself while remaining strategically engaged with those who deserve your presence. These aren't separate techniques to apply randomly. They're interconnected principles that operate together to create a complete transformation in how you navigate authority dynamics. Machiavelli comprehended something that most individuals never grasp: respect is not requested. Respect is commanded through consistent action, clear boundaries, and unwavering standards. The realm respects authority, and authority originates from within. You now possess the knowledge that separates those who get trampled from those who command respect wherever they venture. The question is, will you apply it? Will you continue permitting disrespect to infiltrate your existence, slowly eroding your self-worth and opportunities? Or will you begin implementing these strategies today, transforming into someone whose mere presence commands respect? The choice is yours. But comprehend this: every moment you delay is another moment you train individuals that you're someone who tolerates poor treatment. Every occasion you overlook disrespect is another brick in a prison of your own construction. The powerful don't wait for permission to enforce their standards. They don't apologize for demanding respect. They don't negotiate their worth with individuals who should already recognize it. Will you claim it? It's time to stop following and start leading. Your throne awaits. Asterisk, asterisk. Begin today. Begin now. Select one strategy from what we've discussed and implement it in your next interaction. Observe how rapidly individuals' conduct begins to shift when you demonstrate through your actions that you're no longer someone who tolerates disrespect. Remember, disrespect is not about you. It's about them testing whether you're someone worth respecting. Your response to that test determines everything that follows. The techniques we've explored today aren't just theoretical concepts. They're battle-tested strategies that have worked for centuries because they're based on fundamental human psychology. Machiavelli documented them because he witnessed them operate in the most brutal authority contests imaginable. You don't need to live in Renaissance Italy to benefit from this wisdom. The same principles apply in modern offices, relationships, and social situations. Human nature hasn't transformed. Only the setting has. The individuals who master these principles don't live in fear of disrespect because they know exactly how to handle it. They don't lose sleep over how others treat them because they've established clear standards and consequences. They walk through existence with quiet confidence, knowing that anyone who tests them will rapidly learn an expensive lesson. They've become untouchable not through aggression, but through the calm certainty that they will never permit themselves to be disrespected. This is the transformation available to you. Not someday. Not when circumstances are perfect. Today. Right now. In your next interaction. The realm is waiting to perceive what you'll do with this knowledge. Will you apply it and ascend to the authority you deserve? Or will you return to previous patterns, permitting disrespect to continue stealing your dignity? I believe you're ready for transformation. I believe you've tolerated disrespect for the last occasion. I believe you're about to become someone who commands natural respect through their mere presence. Take that first step. The throne is yours to claim. Asterisk, asterisk. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I am untouchable. I command respect. Now venture forth and demonstrate the realm who you genuinely are. Someone who will never again tolerate disrespect. Someone who knows their worth. Someone who has mastered the darkest, most effective strategies for commanding respect. Your transformation begins now.